Before we start, I just want to thank you so much for doing this. It means a lot to me and our UD Squad community. Let's do a quick round of intro, like where are you from and where are you right now and what do you do right now?
Cool. Yes, so I am Priyam Srivastava, originally from Bombay, right now living in the Bay Area, here close to San Francisco, and I am working here as a marketing manager in downtown.
Very nice. And you did your master's in marketing.
Yes, so I did my engineering in India, then I moved here to do my MS marketing, which is master's in marketing.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So before we get into that, let's talk about like your profile because everybody would like to know like what did you get in GRE, TOEFL, and you're like my first guest who is come from masters in marketing because I don't have anybody who's done masters in marketing and a non-STEM major.
Yep.
So let's do GRE, TOEFL, or IELTS, whichever you gave, and what was your bachelor's score?
Yep. So I think I did my engineering from RIIT in Navi Mumbai. I honestly don't even remember my bachelor's score because I took like 5 years to complete my engineering, so I was definitely not into engineering. And like I remember like engineering maths was the subject which I couldn't clear and which led to my downfall, and obviously it took me like 5 years to complete my engineering.
Yeah.
But that's an important part of my life, right?
Right.
But then I gave my GRE and again ended up with an embarrassing score of 296.
It's not, I got 294, so you're fine.
Yes, but then yeah, I gave my IELTS. That was 7.5 was my score.
Okay.
Yep, and then I started applying for universities here in the US.
It. And I like that you mentioned that you had like a gap year, not technically a gap year, but a drop year, and then you had to do extra year because this also shows that it's not all about just one thing. It's like overall application goes into like profile and everything. So now let's talk about, did you have any work experience?
Yep, so I did work in India for like 3 years in Mumbai for a digital marketing agency called Performix.Convonix. So yeah, I used to live in Navi Mumbai and travel all the way to Lower Parel. So my commute was like a good 1.5 hour commute. Yeah.
The interesting thing is you went from instrumentation right, engineering into digital marketing, and you worked for 3 years.
Yep.
Why digital marketing? Or there was like ki bhai jo mila, like something like it.
It is actually an interesting story. So I happened to be a drummer as well. I had my band back then. So I really used to love promoting my band on social media. So like on Facebook and a little bit of Orkut days as well then. And so that's what kind of brought like my interest in marketing. And I used to like organize college festivals at RIIT and everything. And I realized like midway through my engineering that engineering was not my thing. But then I wanted to take a degree. Yeah. But then soon after I got placed in this company through college itself.
Okay.
Because to be honest, that was the only company I was eligible to interview for since I had a drop year.
Right.
But it turned out to be perfect.
We are going to make a separate video just on digital marketing and marketing career and scope and all of that. But so moving fast forward, you had 3 years of experience. What happened that you decided like I want to do masters?
Sure. So I think after a point I realized that to take the next step, like in terms of doing the best thing possible in digital marketing, I should be doing masters, and because that would be my first degree in marketing, right? So yeah, that was basically when I thought about doing masters.
And did you think about US or other countries or just US?
US was my first option because everything literally starts from either the Bay Area or like New York. So yes, but I did think about Canada because I knew I did not have a very strong like academic background. So I was like keeping my options open.
Yeah. Okay. And so now going to application process, what colleges did you apply if you remember?
Right. I did apply to a couple of Florida universities, and again, couple of reasons for that. I was looking to move to a place wherein the weather is not going to be a challenge for me.
Right.
Like coming from Bombay and moving to like Tampa Bay, very consistent, close to waters. And I kind of knew like my capacity and my capability, because yes, I had not so great engineering scores, but I had like very relevant work experience. So I could target like average universities, not super high, not super low.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember applying to Florida State University, University of Tampa, where I ended up going to, and then I think another university in Chicago. I don't remember the name.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And what was the reason you decided to go for Tampa?
Sure.
I mean, University of.
Right. So obviously, like weather and all of that was one reason, but the more important and like probably that's how I would like recommend people to think is to look into the coursework and like what exactly the course has to offer.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a master's in marketing program, which is like very specific into like core of marketing and not, not compromising and getting into like a STEM course just because, that's the right thing to do for most of the people.
Yeah.
But I think the coursework made a lot of sense based on my work experience.
Got it. And we're going to touch about the coursework, but I wanted to know what was your thinking process behind choosing non-STEM program? Because like you said, it's a stigma to choose STEM program because you get 3 years of OPT and in your case, you only have 1 year of OPT. And in that 1 year of OPT, you also have to get H-1B visa approved.
Yeah.
Were you scared? Were you nervous while choosing it? Or you were like, no, I'm just going to do this?
Yeah. So let me tell you, 10 out of 10 people strongly recommended me to go for a STEM course. And and I'm talking about my superiors, my colleagues, and like friends who already were here in the US. And I, asked them the reason for it. Like, why are you suggesting that? And then I got to know, like, you get 3 years of OPT, it'll give you more time to find a job. But my whole question was, what if I end up in a job which I don't really like? Just because I have a STEM degree, I might end up doing something which I'm not interested in, and which is most of the times into like business analytics or like business analysis or some kind of analytics, driven role. But I was looking for more like a strategy and marketing strategy kind of a role. So I was like, let me go for this pure marketing course and I'll see what happens.
Right. What's the coursework look like for marketing? What do you learn in marketing?
Yep, that's a very good question. And I guess my particular program was like a 36 credit program. But what you actually learn in marketing are like the different avenues and the different aspects of it. Like digital marketing is like one part of it, but there is also like integrated marketing and communications or like business strategy, strategic planning. And then if you're doing a master's program, you have to go through like the basic level courses of economics and finance, because in the end you're doing a business degree, so you need to understand at least the basics of how finance works and business works.
Right. Because ultimately the goal of marketing is to bring revenue.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. So what kind of assignments do you usually get in marketing? Because I've done masters in computer science, so in my case we know that it's a programming, you have to write a code.
Yeah.
In marketing, like what do they do? Like do they make you sell a product?
Oh, that's exactly, I mean, you kind of said the exact thing. Like it is not as simple obviously to put an assignment like you need to sell this, tell me what you can do, like how do you sell this pen? None of that happens.
Right.
But it's about like how you think holistically about a marketing campaign.
Okay.
And you, in a master's program, you actually get to work with an actual US company and you have to present like a marketing plan to them.
Right.
Now, when I say a marketing plan, it has to include like what should be done on social media and what should the website look like and how about outdoor advertising.
Wow.
So that's where you get to learn the basics of, does it make sense to have like a billboard up top on the road for the business, or you need to put your budget on like a website? Is it e-commerce or not? And you have the option to choose from, because universities have these partnerships with companies, and it's not just startups. You end up like working for big companies.
So you're saying that University of Tampa will actually help you get in touch with companies where you can help them design their marketing plan?
Yes. Yeah.
As a part of your coursework?
As a part of the coursework.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is so cool, because you're not just like doing the theoretical knowledge, because you're doing like hands-on, and that really counts as your, profile and portfolio for actual real world job, right?
Right.
Yeah. So was there any of the courses which you really liked, like you prefer, like this was my favorite course, and why?
Yeah. So I think the one which I, obviously coming from that background and like a little bit biased, but integrated marketing and communications, IMC is how you refer to it, was very interesting, because in that particular course, all the students had actually, like, the assignment throughout the semester was to create their own website and like write a blog each month. It was actually each week, yeah. So you had to write like an
Wow.
article or a blog like related to marketing, and we used to get like scored, judged on how we write and what are we trying to say with that article. So that was just one part of it, and then again working for a real company and presenting like an integrated marketing campaign for them. So very interesting.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I'm more interested to know what exactly you do right now for the company as a marketing manager, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But it's very interesting to me. Now I want to know more about like, how did you have any internship after doing all this coursework? Like, did you get any internship?
Well, too good to be true kind of a story. But yes, I actually did 4 internships during my
4.
Yeah, so I
Now,
kind
how long was your master's? 2 years.
of 2
right?
years.
Okay.
So you could work as an intern for maximum of 11 months because that's like the limit you get on your CPT.
Okay.
And
as
so
a full time.
yeah, so 11 months of CPT is what you get during your graduation
Correct.
program.
Before you graduate. Yeah.
Right. So I did 4 internships and like 2 each at like 2 different companies. So yes, and the funny story is, and I would love to share this with everyone because we keep hearing about how US is like the land of opportunities. What happened with me, and I have this like first case, first person example. So there was this thing called like Friends of Internationals, which at my university, basically people who come from like outside the US, there is like a group of people who are ready to help you. They pick you up from the airport and like drop you.
Wow.
So
yeah.
so my first hour of being in the US, the person who came to pick me up happened to be working in a digital marketing agency. I sat in his car. Like everything was so fresh and new for me because that was like my first hour in the US.
Yeah.
He ended up asking me about my work experience. I told him about my SEO background, and he was like, "You're looking for someone. Would you be willing to do an internship with us?" And I was like, "And this is like too good to be true," and I couldn't sleep that night. But yeah, as soon as I got like eligible to work as an intern, which was like 9 months after you start the program,
Yes.
I joined WebZults. That's the digital agency.
So and that was like a part-time internship.
Yeah. So that was with my coursework. So it was like a 20-hour per week
Okay.
for first
So
time.
instead of your on-campus job, you went for.
Yeah, I never really worked on campus, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and nothing against on-campus jobs, but I would, if given a chance, I would like to, work in my field of work rather than like working in a library,
Yes.
which is something which I don't think adds a lot of value to your resume.
Right.
But yeah,
Unless people really dependent on that
yeah,
to cover their living expenses
Totally.
or something.
yeah.
And I actually forgot to ask you about your living expenses and cost of living. What is it like in Tampa? What's the average cost of living?
I thought it was a lot, but now after moving to San Francisco, it was nothing. But yeah, I remember like staying, sharing a house with like 2 other, housemates, and I used to pay like $300 per month. So
Wow, that's like nothing.
For
And
rent.
you had your private room or? You
yeah,
were
my
sharing?
own room.
Okay.
Yeah. Shared bathroom, but yes, $300 for that room, and I think I stayed there for like good 1.5 years. Yeah.
Okay, and so roughly $600 would you say, like
Yeah.
including your food and
Yeah,
outside
internet and like all of
everything,
like groceries,
utilities
yeah.
and everything?
I would actually call it like 500 even, like not because Tampa is actually like not that expensive.
Not that expensive.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So now moving back to your internship. So you got that as a first because you talked through the things, and
Yeah.
what exactly did you talk in that conversation? What did you like? How did you convince that person?
Right. Now in retrospect, when I think about it, I guess one big factor which really helped me in getting that internship was being like hyper focused on like one skill set. Like had I been like, oh yeah, I know everything about marketing, yeah, I can do social media, I can do content writing, then that would have kind of reduced my chance. I was just specific like, hey, I am an SEO expert, like subject matter expert of search engine optimization. If you have anything around that, great. And that kind of worked out for me. So, I mean, in my personal experience and like my personal advice would be for people in marketing to like be very focused if possible and be an expert at one thing, because there are like tons of opportunities for like, that skill set.
Be master of one instead of jack of all trades.
Yeah. kind
But
of.
at least you should be jack of all trades and also master of
Yeah,
all.
if possible. That's like too good to be
Yeah,
true.
yeah. So that's first internship. You said you'd had multiple internship. What was your other internship?
Sure. So I think a very fun way to look at this, but I actually did this. So every city here in the US, has like a very fancy looking downtown, maybe not too big, but like still there are like skyscrapers there. So I got this internship. I was working, and it's not a huge company. It was like a 10-employee company, but I was super happy. But I actually used to look at all the tall buildings in downtown Tampa and like look at, because the buildings have their logos right on the top. And I literally jumped on LinkedIn and started applying on and looking for any openings there. And that's where I found this the company where I interned next was Sykes Enterprises. It's like the most fancy looking building in downtown Tampa. You should show it to your audience as well.
I will definitely find one.
Yeah. So I ended up contacting them and
on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn, and I contacted their director of digital marketing, and I'm into SEO.
Wow, this is awesome because now I want to dive deep into this. What was your message? Like, what was your thought process behind contacting on LinkedIn?
Sure. So my thought process was, my resume makes more sense in someone else's inbox rather than my computer. So LinkedIn gives us LinkedIn gives us an option to send resume through PDF. Right now, like as of today, I get too many like people contacting me trying to sell stuff, but I was on the other side then. So I just had like a really short paragraph to the digital marketing director saying that, hey, this is Priyam doing my master's. Again, very important to mention that you're doing your master's, so you definitely are a focused person who wants to study.
Right.
And my work experience is into SEO. I've been working for 3 years. Here's my resume. I know there's no opening as of now with Sykes Enterprises, but if anything pops up, let me know. I'll be,
so
happy.
Basically like a cold message, cold emailing technique.
Yeah, and I'm like totally against, this is just my style of working, that I don't want to say a hi, then wait for the response, and then how are you doing? And then I would say, how are you doing? Hope you're safe and all of that, but I would like do
the one whole paragraph message.
Because people at that level are like, they do not have enough time to like talk to strangers. So just get to the point. If it works out, great, because even they have this problem of finding the right people, right? Like finding the right candidate. I'm on the other side right now. I understand like finding the right candidate, and you probably know that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that worked out for me. But let me tell you, I got a response back from her. So she was a director after like 3 months.
Wow.
So it was like trying out everywhere and seeing.
Like, did you follow up or you just
I did not.
Okay. So and they just responded back after 3 months.
3 months. Yes.
Saying what? Like, we have an internship opening.
Yeah. So the response was yes, we would love to meet up with you. Are there any times that work for you? And I was like super excited. Like, wow. And obviously my first internship helped, because now they knew that I have some background
exposure,
of working. But this company is a global company, so it has like presence in 21 countries. So I was like super excited. And in fact, our College of Business is called Sykes College of Business because it has been donated by Sykes Enterprises. Okay. So it's a pretty big name.
Marketing agency.
It's actually not an agency. Okay. It actually changed. So this was an in-house marketing role.
Okay.
So which was my first ever in-house marketing role. So that's distinction, like working at an agency, taking care of multiple clients versus taking care of just one.
Their own company's marketing. Okay. And did you have an interview or like?
Oh, I did. Like it was like 4 rounds of interview.
4 rounds of interview. Okay. Wow. Can we get into those? Do you remember those?
Yeah. Obviously, this was like 3 years back. Yeah, 3 years back. But yeah, I think the first round was with like the hiring manager, and then so the way I'm seeing this pattern obviously now that it typically works is you have to meet with your collaborators as well, like someone who works with the marketing team but is not a part of the marketing team, like the product team or the sales leads and all of that. So yes, I had to interview with all of them. And
what do they ask you? Do they ask you like, sell this pen to me, sell yourself to me, or is that just in movies?
Yeah, that's just in movies. No, hasn't happened with me. Maybe there was no pen in the room. But I think the question was mainly around my work experience. So people coming to the US with solid work experience, and when I say solid, I consider 2 to 3 years as pretty significant. It was focused around that. Like, what has Priyam done at a professional level rather than what is Priyam doing in school.
Yeah.
So that was the differentiator. But obviously they could relate to my University of Tampa master's program because they know it's right there. So they did ask, I would say 70% was about work experience and 30% was about what am I learning at school, how is it helping you, you know, in shaping your career and stuff like that.
Okay. Awesome. So that was your second internship and you kept doing more internship?
So I ended up doing 2 internships at the first company and then 2 with Sykes.
Okay, so just got it.
Yeah.
Okay, and how, is that the company you went with the full time, or did you apply for some other?
Okay, again, I'm sorry to say, but I have another interesting story.
Yeah.
So what happened is I ended up making like really good relationships like with both these companies, with both WebZerts and Sykes. What happened is there's this popular misbelief that multiple companies cannot file for your visa. I mean, that's a misconception. So what I ended up doing is both companies kind of offered me full-time roles and both applied for my H-1B visa.
While you were studying?
One of them, yes, while I was studying, and one of them after the end of my second internships. So, okay, this is going to get confusing.
Okay.
In totality, there were three H-1B filings for me. One was when I was in my grad school, and 2 after I graduated. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So first one did not get picked up, but fortunately or unfortunately, after I graduated, you know, both filings went in from 2 different companies and both got picked up in the lottery. And it was a good problem to have, but still a problem. So then I had to choose, you know, I ended up going with, you know, Sykes, which was like a bigger organization.
But you were not an employee of both the companies at that time, and they could still apply for you.
As long as they have an offer letter for you that can be future dated,
okay,
they can apply for your visa.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know this. So I'm sure a lot of my audience probably are learning from this, because I don't think that people know this, that while they're studying they can even ask company to file for it. So did you ask for them?
Yes, I did. Yep. And one thing to note, like a caveat, like rules keep on changing.
Yes.
This was what happened with me in 2016,
Right.
2017 year. But yes, I had to ask them because not all companies are super familiar with how, you know,
Visa
international students
processing
work.
works. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your tip for job search?
I think biggest tip is to be consistent.
With what?
With reaching out to people. As I said, there is a difference between being aggressive and being consistent. You don't want to burn out yourself by emailing or knocking on the doors like 10,000 companies in a week. You have to start applying since day one of you being here in the US.
Yes.
Stick it to like 5 companies a day, and you'll, by the end of that year, you'll be like applying to what, like 300 into 5. So that many companies. So be consistent with reaching out and be consistent with your resume. Like you should be known as, like, you know, an expert, or at least people should associate you with like one particular type of job role.
Right.
It shouldn't be like I am a marketing manager, but I can be a software developer as well. I cannot.
Right.
I have to stick with my world and be consistent in applying to the right roles. And there is no such thing as like bad question or weird question. You should like reach out, and you can get so much by just asking about it, right? Like asking for a thing, and you are such a great example. Like you're doing such great things because you are taking that chance. So
right, by reaching out to people.
Reaching out. Yeah.
I think this is where I'm going to end this part of the video. We'll do the second part, which is going to be focused on purely career in marketing and scope in marketing. Should people come to United States for marketing and things like that? What are different career avenues in marketing? So I have a special way of ending the video. I say keep smiling and keep hustling. You want to do that for me?
Let me think. Yeah, I think I can do it.
All right. Until our next one.
Keep smiling.
And keep hustling. Gotta hustle every single day.